Pilates Sculpt or any sculpt class typically just means you're adding weights to a workout. So weights to a workout that maybe normally you wouldn't add weights to. So like Pilates Sculpt and Yoga Sculpt, that's typically what that means. Now, sculpt classes are a little different than just like weightlifting. You know, like if you're just doing like a standard weightlifting class, you know, you can use heavier weights like 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds. But when it comes to sculpt classes, I usually recommend really minimal weights. So anywhere from 1 to 5 pounds. If you see behind me, I have a set of 2 pounds, I have a set of 3 pounds, and I have a set of 5 pounds, so that I can kind of like adjust depending on the exercise. So if you have hand weights, I would go and grab them right now. I wouldn't suggest though anything heavier than 5 pounds, even if you are really strong. So I've been doing Pilates and yoga for probably like half my life at this point. And I still, when it comes to Pilates Sculpt and Yoga Sculpt, which again just means you're adding hand weights to different Pilates exercises and yoga exercises. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I still never add more than 5 pounds at a time. And the reason for that is, as I said, it's not just like a standard like weightlifting where it's like you're incorporating it into the whole exercise. So it's going to affect, it's more holistic, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it's going to affect like how the momentum of different exercises. So if you add too much in general, but if you add too much in general, but if you add too much too soon as well, it can maybe throw the momentum off, or it might put your lower back more at risk. So I would start small. And with all of these exercises, you can do them without weights as well. So I'm going to show you how to incorporate weights. Hi, Bev. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. So I'm going to show you how to incorporate the weights, but you can do all the exercises that we are going to do with weights without weights as well. So I hope that makes sense. Let's get going. So we're actually going to begin on our side body. We're going to begin with doing a couple fetal thigh exercises. So line yourself up with the back of your mat, hip, elbow, shoulder. And you can either prop your head up like this or use your arm as a pillow, like that. And pull your knees into your chest, so you're in like a fetal-like position, and then feet are out just so you can see them. And now this is where you can add weight if you want to. Any size that works for you. You can also put your hand here if you're not up for an actual hand weight, but just want a little extra weight. Another option is just to put your hand here if you don't want any weight at all. And we're going to start with double taps. So pull your belly button gently towards your spine, and then begin to do light taps, 2 of them, and then come up to hip height. So it's tap, tap, and up. So you're tapping your knees and your feet. So it's like this top leg is all moving as one unit. And with the fetal thigh series, I always like to think, especially with this exercise in particular, I always like to think of a glass of water resting on my knee here. And you just want to think of, and you don't want that glass to spill. So that's how you know you're keeping your alignment intact, ankle, knee, and thigh. So with the fetal thigh series, it's really small movements, but you really warm up quickly because it's really not only controlled, but isolated. So you're probably going to begin to feel it about now. I certainly do. It's really targeting, really isolating this area of your body, toning and strengthening. Let's do one more. And then if possible, hold it up hip height. Take a break if you need it. When you're ready though, extend here and bend. Inhale, exhale. Shoulders away from your ear. Belly button to your spine. When you extend your leg out, make sure you're not locking your knee. So notice how I have a little knee bend here. That's what you want. Begin to pair your movement with your breath here. Again, for this exercise, that means inhale, extend, exhale, pull back. Wonderful. See if you got 2 more in you. Now hold your leg hip height if possible. Say that 10 times fast. Relax your face. Strong core. Shaking's okay. Shaking's good. Relax your jaw. One more breath like this. Beautiful. Then slowly bring your leg down. Very nice job. From here, move your body into a position where it's a straight line. So you're lined up all the way with the back of your mat. Bring this arm out now, palm up. We're going to do some side crunches. If you do not want to use your weight, you can just have your hand here. Actually, let me regroup with that. Bring your hand up here. And the reason for that is I think as you do this, even if you're not using a weight, I think a beautiful way to strengthen that's a little less challenging is to squeeze your heels together and just practice balancing in this side body position. So this might be the version of your exercise today. You're just balancing and holding here. You might start to feel your body begin to stabilize. That's a good thing. That's your body strengthening. If you do want a bigger challenge, you're going to bring a weight up here. And actually you can do this movement with or without a weight, I should say. But you can, I'll show you without a weight first. So you can either hold here balancing, or on your next exhale, you can pull your hand towards your feet and then come down. Inhale the prep, exhale shoulder to your hip. So we're really targeting our obliques here. Now, if you want to add the weight, you do the same thing, having the weight hover above your legs. And if you want to make it even more challenging, as you pull your shoulder to your hip, you gently lift your legs as well. So you've got a lot of options here. Do what you can for a couple more, regardless of what version you're doing, whether you're not moving but just trying to balance in a side body position, whether you're lifting just your upper body or you're lifting your legs and your upper body. See if you can keep your body in like one line. So if you had, what I'm trying to say is if you had panes of glass coming in, see how close you can get those panes of glass without actually touching them. So you're trying to keep your alignment intact. I know I said a couple more and I kind of lied. We did more than a couple. One last time. Shoulder to your hip. Beautiful. Very nice job. Now bring your legs out to a banana type shape. So your body here is still, your upper body is still in alignment with the back of your mat, but your feet are forward. You can, again, prop your head up like this or use your arm as a pillow. We're going to do a couple side leg exercises, again, with or without the weight. So we're going to start with the inner thigh lifts. So bring this top leg over your bottom one. For this one, you just need some space here between your legs. However, if it is possible, you can bring your foot up a little closer. If that's not possible, that's okay. You can either keep your hand here if you don't want to use a weight, or you can bring your weight and gently rest it on your lower leg. Flex your toes, lengthen out through your heel, and try turning your heel towards the ceiling. Then on your next exhale, lift up 2, 3 times, and lower down. Up, leading with your heel, 2, 3, and down. So your goal with this one is to lift straight up, and then with control, lower straight down. Your body's going to want to kind of move side to side. But you're going to try to keep the integrity of the lift because that's really going to isolate your inner thighs. Now you can either continue like this, taking a break if you need to, or for a bigger challenge, hold at the top and pulse. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 10. One more set. 5, 10. Very nice. Drop it down. Awesome. Rest for a moment. Make sure the shoulder isn't creeping up to your ears. It probably wants to. Drop it down. Relax your face. And then from here, we're going to move to the bicycles in the side leg series. And so for this one, you're going to bring your top leg hip height. It can be done with or without the weight. If you want to use a weight, bring it to your thigh here. And you're going to pull your leg forward on an inhale, bend, exhale, push it back. Inhale, come forward, bend, exhale, push it back. Nice. Couple more like this. And as you do this, See if you can keep your upper body as still as possible. Hold it back. Reverse directions, bend, then bring your knee forward, extend. Inhale, exhale, belly button to your spine. So the side leg series, as you can probably feel, is great for your hips, thighs, glutes, but it's also great for your core because as you're moving your leg, you're using those muscles to keep your upper body still. Last one. Good, hold hip height if possible. If not, take a little breather. Just dropping your leg, knee in front of your bottom leg. And we're gonna do one more here on this side, small circles. So these are intended to have, as the name implies, a small range of motion, but what you wanna do is be as crisp as possible with them. That's how you're gonna know you're in control and you're gonna get the most effective muscle work. So with that being said, bring your leg forward a little bit, leg is still hip height. And then on your next inhale, circle, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 10. One more step this way if you can. 15, 20, other direction. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 10. One more set if possible. 15, 20, hold it up if you can, shaking's okay. Deep breath, upper body is relaxed, but core is strong. You're breathing, and then drop your knee down slowly, very nice job. Wonderful. Take a deep breath. And before we move to the other side, we're gonna do a couple exercises for the back side of our body, specifically the space between our shoulder blades and our lower back. So roll to your stomach and stack your hands, forehead down, just rest for a moment on your stomach, taking a couple deep breaths. And then when you're ready, we're gonna move into swimming. This one is gonna target, as I said, your lower back. It's also great for your glutes and your hamstrings. So bring your legs hip width apart. Grab some weights if you want to. I think I'm gonna go down to 3 pounds for these ones on my stomach. Extend your arms out, shoulder width apart. Take an inhale to prep, and on your exhale, lift one arm and the opposite leg. Inhale, lower with control. Exhale, other side. One arm and the opposite leg. Drop down, lift up. So you can move at your own pace here, lifting on your exhales, lowering on your inhales. Your goal, whether you're lifting or lowering, is to move with control. So you're not just dropping your arms and legs down, throwing them up like this. Our number one goal, specifically in Pilates, but certainly in yoga as well, is to have a graceful movement so that we know we're using muscle and not momentum. If at any point you're using weights and you don't want to anymore, feel free just to drop them down. Belly button pulls up. One more set here. And whenever you finish, stack your hands, forehead down, take a breather. From here, squeeze your heels together. Start to feel that activate your inner thighs. That's going to help protect your lower back in our next exercise, which is pulling the straps. Pulling the straps not only targets your lower back, but it's also going to bring some strength and blood flow to the space between your shoulder blades. So once again, start with your arms out in front of you, and with or without weights, take an inhale to prep. Then on your exhale, pull your arms back and gently pull them together. Inhale, extend back out, heels are together. Exhale, pull back, palms face each other, gentle pulling in with your arms. Inhale, extend out. Long, slow exhale, pull back. 2 more at your own pace. Belly button pulls towards your spine. That's going to help keep your lower back safe as you go. Last one. And once you finish, once again, stack your hands, forehead down. Rest for a moment. Then on your next exhale, push your hips back to child's pose. So big toes are touching, knees are mat width apart. Stack your fists or your hands and bring your forehead to your fists or your hands if that's available to you. If it's available to you as well, you can bring your forehead all the way to the ground. If this position doesn't work for your knees, then roll to your back and gently pull your knees into your chest or out towards your shoulders instead of being here in child's pose. Now allow yourself to really breathe deeply here and rest for a moment. And as you do that, I had a little prayer that I wanted to read you. It comes from this little prayer book I have by Ernest Holmes. So if you are a religious person, you can take it in that manner. If you're not, hopefully you can just allow the inspiring words to almost sink into your mind and body as an affirmation. But I chose this one because I thought it actually reminded me of Pilates. It's entitled Peace, Poise, and Power. It goes like this. Peace, poise, and power are within me, for they are the witness of the inner spirit of all truth, love, and wisdom. I am at peace within me, and all about responds to that great calm of the inner soul, which knows its rightful place in all the good. Power is born from within me and passes into my experience without effort or labor. I rest in security and peace, for the inner light shines forth and illuminates the way. Beautiful. Take a deep breath on that. And when you're ready, gently move yourself out of child's pose and meet me on the other side. So I'm going to bring my weights with me here. And we're going to do the fetal thigh exercises and cycling series exercises on our other hip here. So line yourself up with the back of your mat. Got a whole bunch going on in front of me, don't I? Remember, elbow, shoulder, hip. Decide if you want to use your arm as a pillow or prop your head up. Then bring your legs forward into a fetal leg position. Feet are out just so you can see them. This shoulder's away from your ears, belly button's pulling towards your spine. And then with or without a weight, you're going to begin to tap this top leg twice and then lift hip height. Inhale, inhale, exhale, lift. Imagine that glass of water on your top knee. Don't let it spill. And see if you can get your taps as crisp as possible. Really crisp movements along with, before I said graceful, but sometimes with these smaller movements, we're going for crisp. That's how we know we're using muscle and not momentum. Remember, shaking is okay. Burning is okay. Your goal is to make sure you're keeping your form. If you're able to keep your form, but you're feeling a little aching, a little burning, a little shaking, then you know that's good discomfort. If you're unable to keep your form though, you might want to lose the weight or take a break. Hold it hip height after your next one, or take a break. And then when you're ready, we're going to do those extensions. Inhale, extend. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, exhale. Remember not to lock your knee. So don't totally straighten your leg here. just a gentle extension, then heel to your glute. You're trying to keep your ankle and knee hip height as you do these extensions. That's the goal. And like I said at the beginning, relax your face, relax your jaw, relax your shoulders, but keep your core strong. You're doing great. These are deceiving, aren't they? One more if you can, and then hold your leg hip height if possible. Shaking's okay. Breathe. Strong core. Awesome. Slowly come down. Very nice job. Now extend your legs out so you're all in one line. We're going to do the side crunches. So extend this arm down, palm is up. Remember, your first option here is to hold in this position with your heels squeezing together, trying to keep your body in that just side position. That in and of itself is a strengthening exercise. If you want to make this more challenging, then on your next exhale, pull your top shoulder towards your top hip. Try not to use this arm very much. That's why we have palms up. Inhale, come down. Exhale, drag your fingertips towards your feet. If you want to make it even more challenging, add the weight. Still inhaling to prep, exhaling to pull up. And then as we did on the other side, if you'd like it to make it even more challenging, you're lifting your legs as you're pulling your shoulder to your hip. Regardless of what version you're doing here, breathe deeply, long, slow breaths. Belly button pulls to your spine. And again, you're using that visual where you're imagining the panes of glass coming towards you, and you're seeing how close you can get them to your body on either side without touching them. So that's going to help keep you in the proper alignment. 2 more. Controlled on the way down, slow, controlled, graceful on the way up. Beautiful. Once you finish that last one, then bring your feet forward to the pike position, or like that banana shape. Decide what you want to do with this arm. Again, you have the option of propping your head up or using your arm as a pillow. We're going to do the inner thigh lift. So top leg bends. You might want to keep your top foot close to your bottom one if that's most comfortable for your hip. If you're able to bring your foot closer like this, do that. But if that's not available to you today, flexibility-wise, that's okay. And then if you want to, you can bring a weight on top of your bottom inner thigh. Regardless of what if you're using a weight or not, flex your bottom toes, lengthen out through your heel, turn your toes towards the ground, inhale to prep, exhale, lift 1, 2, 3 times, inhale, lower down with control. Exhale up, 2, 3, and down. As I mentioned on the other side, the goal is to go straight up with your movement and straight down, graceful, slow, and controlled. Now continue like this, or for a bigger challenge, hold at the top and pulse. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 10. One more set. 5, 20. Beautiful. Rest for a moment. You can just bring this top leg down. Take a breather. You're doing great. We've got 2 more on this side, the bicycles and small circles. So get yourself set up with or without the weight. If you're not using the weight, this hand can go here. You also have the option of, as I mentioned with fetal thighs, just putting your hand here if you want a little extra weight, but not this heavy. Otherwise, the weight comes on top of your top leg. Lift your top leg hip height, and we're going to extend forward on an inhale, bend, push it back on an exhale. Inhale and exhale. So you're trying to keep your leg hip height the entire time. The bigger your movement, the more challenging the side leg series exercises become. One more this way. Reverse direction. So bend on an inhale now and extend forward, exhale. Inhale, bite back. Exhale, extend forward. Nice. Last two. Upper body's as still as possible. Beautiful. Take a break if you need it. Otherwise, leg is hip height. Breathe here. And we're going to finish up with the small circles. The goal is very crisp movement. So with your kneecap forward, leg hip height, bring your leg forward just a little bit. You can decide if you want your toes flexed or pointed. That's up to you. And on your next inhale, start to circle. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 10. One more step this way if possible. 15. 20 and reverse. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 10. One more set. 20. Beautiful. Hold your leg up hip height if you can. Again, say that 10 times fast. Hip height, hip height. You got it. And rest. Really nice job. Good, good. All right, roll to your stomach. Stack your hands. Rest with your forehead down for a moment. We're going to do swimming and pulling the straps once again. When you're ready for swimming, bring your legs hip height, extend your arms out, shoulder height with or without the weights, belly button up, take an inhale to prep, exhale, lift one arm and the opposite leg. Inhale, lower down with control, exhale, lift with control. Nice. Keep moving at your own pace, lifting on your exhales, lowering on your inhales. Although your arms are extending out in front of you, make sure your shoulders are pulling back in their sockets. Always, 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 in nearly every Pilates exercise or yoga exercise, if you can make space between your shoulders and your ears, that's going to be a good thing. One more set. And whenever you finish, stack your hands, forehead down, rest for a moment, breathe deeply. Pulling the straps is next. So when you're ready, squeeze your heels together. Arms out in front of you with or without your weights. Inhale to prep. Exhale, pull back, palms face each other. Gently pull your arms towards your midline. Inhale, extend in front of you. Exhale, pull back. Nice. Keep moving at your own pace. 2 more if you can. Belly button up. Last one, make it good. Really nice job. Forehead down on your stacked hands. Breathe deeply. On your next exhale, push yourself back to child's pose. Get comfy there. So decide if you want stacked hands, stacked fists, or arms out in front of you. See if you can find a forehead connection if possible. And as you're resting, once again, I'll read that prayer to you, same one. Peace, poise, and power. Peace, poise, and power are within me, for they are the witness of the inner spirit of all truth, love, and wisdom. I am at peace within me, an all-about response to that great calm of the inner soul, which knows its rightful place in all the good. Power is born from within me and passes into my experience without effort or labor. I rest in security and peace, for the inner light shines forth and illuminates the way. On your next inhale, come up out of child's pose and meet me in a seated position, cross-legged if possible. If that's not possible, you might try feet together, bottoms of your feet together. If that's more comfortable, you could even try something like this. But if you're able to do cross-legged, find that position. And we're gonna do a couple seated Pilates exercises for your upper body. So get your weights handy. And once you've found a seated position that works for you today, start by adjusting your posture. So think about zipping up a tight pair of jeans, and then drop your shoulders, relax your face. So as we do these upper body exercises, you're gonna see if you can keep your posture strong. So although we are focusing on our upper body, it's still gonna require some core strength and some core work to keep your posture intact. So you can do these with or without your weights. Regardless, bring your arms up into a cactus-like position. If you are using weights, see if you can have your fingers free like this instead of gripping. And on your next exhale, bring your arms in so your forearms come towards each other. Inhale, extend. Exhale, arms come in. Now your goal with this one, number one, is to keep your elbows shoulder height. So they're gonna wanna drop down like this. See if you can keep them up. You're trying to maintain a 90-degree angle with your upper arms and your forearms. And then finally, as you come in, notice how my forearms are parallel. That's what you want. Typically, what we'll try to do to kind of cheat a little bit, it'll look like this. Just bring the weights in, but you'll notice you don't get quite as much work. So your goal is to keep your forearms parallel as they come in. See if you can do a couple more. Last two, exhale, strong posture. Inhale, open. Nice. Now drop your arms if you need to, otherwise keep them in a cactus-like position. And when you're ready, inhale to prep, exhale, pull your elbows gently down and back. So now instead of targeting our pec muscles in the front of our body, we're targeting the space between our shoulder blades, which is such an important place to give a little TLC to. You know, typically most of us, because of just the nature of our everyday life, we're hunching forward, doing dishes, driving, working on a computer. And so our upper backs get really tight, but they actually get really weak as well. So anytime we can bring some blood flow and strength to that part of our body, it's a really good thing. One more. And then drop your arms down if you need to. Otherwise, one more exercise here in a cactus-like position. So you're gonna start here, then you're gonna pull in and either touch your arms like this or wrap them around, and we're gonna pulse up 10 times. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 10. Switch your arms if they're crossed. One more set. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 10. Woo! That one got me. Nice. All right. Drop your weights if you haven't already, and just lunge or hinge forward as I'm doing now, just to kind of stretch out your hips a little bit. So experiment a little bit with this. Feel into where you're feeling the stretch. So right now, like I'm feeling it right here, so I'm just gonna stay there. Might even bring my arm up and over. And just give yourself permission to kind of sway and feel where you need to stay for a moment or two. This can be a nice one, as I said, to stretch out your hips. It can stretch out your side body, your lower back. So I'm just gonna hang out like the rag doll here in the center for a moment. You do what you need to do. If you are in this rag doll type position with me, make sure your shoulders are staying away from your ears, but your head is heavy. Your jaw is relaxed, but your core is strong. regardless of your position, take a couple more breaths, stretching, resting. And then on your next inhale, meet me in a seated position. And if you are cross-legged as I am, switch the crossing of your legs. So that's going to feel probably a little awkward for you. It's probably the way you typically don't cross them, but it's good, it'll even out your hips a little bit. And we're going to do a couple more upper body exercises, starting with hugging the tree. That's what it's actually called. If you aren't aware of this, Pilates was developed by a guy named Joseph Pilates. He was of German descent. And so a lot of times the English names of his exercises are very literal. So this one's called hugging the tree. And the next one we're going to do is called shaving the head, which is basically, they both look like you're doing exactly that. So with that being said, start with your posture, zip up in your belly, drop your shoulders, relax your face. With or without weights, bring your arms hip height, like you have a big tree in front of you, or hip height, excuse me, shoulder height, elbows shoulder height. And on your next exhale, you're gonna come forward like you're hugging a tree, exactly as it sounds. Squeeze, and then open. So the key with this one, again, is slow, graceful movement. But then also, your elbows are gonna wanna drop. So your goal is to keep them and your hands shoulder height the entire time. If you're unable to do that, then either drop to weights that are less. So I have 5 pound weights, I would drop to 3 or 2 pounds, hopefully you understand what I mean. Or drop your weights altogether. Posture is strong. Couple more. Exhale, come in. Inhale, open. Last 2. Breathe with it. Beautiful. Drop down. Rest. Couple shoulder rolls. And our last upper body one here, as I mentioned, is called shaving the head. If you're not going to use weights for this one, then bring your pointer fingers and your thumbs together and make almost like this diamond shape. If you are using weights, bring the bottoms of your weights together. Regardless, hinge forward a little bit, belly button to your spine, and on your next inhale, come down like you're shaving the back of your head and up. Nice. So the key with this one is to try to keep your elbows out of your peripheral vision. So keep them wide. Nice. Your jaw and your face are going to want to tighten up. See if you can relax there and instead zip up in your belly. Use your breath. 2 more. And last one. Gorgeous. Nice job. Let's stretch out our hips again with our legs in this position. So we switch the crossing of our legs, and now just do what we did before, kind of hinging, swaying. See where you're tight. See where you might need to just hold and breathe for a few moments. And eventually, if it feels right, you might want to just come forward, hanging like a rag doll at center, but making sure your shoulders aren't creeping to your ears. Instead, your head is heavy. One more deep breath here. Then roll up. You're doing great. We're gonna do a few more exercises before we end with a little stretching, and these next round of exercises are gonna be primarily for your abs. So we're gonna start in a seated position with these ab exercises, but lengthwise. So meet me here. You can kind of move your weights to be ready. Eventually we're gonna make our way down to the mat. But we're gonna do this one seated exercise, seated ab exercise. It's called the rollback, and I'm gonna show you different variations, eventually moving into Russian twists if you would like to do that. So have your weights handy if you'd like them, but let's all start without weights. hands behind our thighs. Notice how I have my feet gently flexed, heels are on the ground, hip width, apart. And then with your hands behind your thighs, sit up as tall as you can. Take an inhale to prep. Then on your exhale, pull your belly button to your spine and roll back until your arms are almost straight. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, roll back. So continue moving like that with your breath. And this might be the version of this exercise that you do today. If so, that's great. As you can feel, it really strengthens here. And you also strengthen as you come up, plus it's a great way to train your posture. If, on the other hand, you're looking for a little more challenge, you can, as you are sitting up here, bring your fists together, or if you'd like to use weights, bring your weights together and do that same movement, but now without holding on to the back of your legs. Move with your breath. Now for an even bigger challenge, hold back. For an even bigger challenge, bring your legs up, shins are parallel with the ground. And for an even bigger challenge, with your feet grounded or your legs up, start to twist. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. So the bigger your twist, the faster you go, the more challenging this one becomes. Your goal is to keep your legs as still as possible as you go. Belly button to your spine. See what you can do for three more seconds. 2 and 1. Nice job. Drop your feet down. If they aren't already, drop your weights down. Hands behind your thighs, and on your next exhale, roll all the way down to the ground as slowly as possible. Really nice job. And once you get down there, you might need to readjust. Once you get to the center of your mat, feet are wide. Drop your knees in, tenting them a little bit. That's just going to help allow your lower back to relax. Deep breath. And for your next exercise, with or without your weights, extend your arms up above your chest and then untent your feet. Find imprinted pelvis, so that means if there is a bowl of water resting on your pelvis, you're going to spill it towards your chest. Then pull your knees into your chest, gently flex your toes, and on your next exhale, start to bring your feet out to tabletop. Tabletop means shins are parallel with the ground, so you're at like a 90-degree angle here. Now your goal with tabletop is not to allow your back to pop up or your belly button to pop up. So you're constantly zipping, zipping, zipping here to try to keep that position intact. If you're having a hard time doing that, just pull your knees in a little bit. That'll make it a little easier. This is going to make it a little more difficult. Now, for some upper body movements, you're going to try to hold in this position with your lower legs. That's targeting the space below your belly button. And then we're going to do some arm movements to target your triceps. So on your next exhale, you're going to drop down, inhale. On your exhale, come up. Inhale, exhale. So you're going to see if you can keep your elbows right above your shoulders. So you're trying to stabilize your upper arms while your forearms move. That's what's going to target your triceps. Your triceps are those muscles in the back of your arms. And as you're doing this again, you're trying to stabilize in tabletop, targeting the space below your belly button. Zipping, zipping, zipping there. Really nice job. Last 2 if possible. And 1, good. Arms stay up if you can. Drop your feet down though. Knees tent in for a moment. Take a breath. Then feet come out. And we're going to move into the bridge. So take an inhale to prep. Exhale, slowly lift your hips up 1 vertebrae at a time. Inhale, drop down. Exhale, slowly lift. Now you can continue like that, Or on your next exhale, keep your hips lifted. This is going to be a bit more challenging. So you're trying to keep your hips up now, and we're going to do some upper body movement as your hips stay lifting. So the movement we're going to start off with here is coming down. Your elbows scrape your side body and then push straight up. So come straight down, elbows scrape your side body, push up. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So as you're doing this upper body movement, your goal is to see if you can keep your hips from dropping. So a lot going on here, just like with the tabletop one we just did. On top of that, you want to see if you can keep the big toe sides of your feet pushing into the ground. So what that's going to do is strengthen your inner thighs. So with this one, we're strengthening our inner thighs, the arches of our feet, the entire backside of our body, plus our upper body with this weighted movement. You're doing a great job. Last two. And last one, arms stay extended if possible. Slowly bring your hips down if they're still lifted. Good. Find imprinted pelvis. So you're going to pretend like you're spilling that bowl of water on your pelvis towards your chest. Pull your knees into your chest. We're going to do one more round of tabletops with tricep extensions. So belly button is zipping. Slowly come out with your feet. See if you can get to a 90-degree angle with your legs without letting your lower back or your belly button pop up. Then on your next inhale, drop down with your forearms. Exhale up. Inhale and exhale. Now if you'd like to make this even more challenging for your abs, on your inhale, you're going to slowly drop your feet down. Exhale, come back up to a 90-degree angle. Inhale, exhale. The more you drop down, the harder it's going to be to keep your lower back and your belly button from popping up. And that's your number one goal. So if you're finding your lower back or your belly button popping up, then make your movement smaller or don't move at all. There's a lot going on with this one, isn't there? A lot to think about. So as you're strengthening here, you're also improving your body awareness. Do what you can for two more. Great job. Nice. Bring your arms down. Weight strap for a second. You can pull your knees into your chest. Good job. Wiggle your toes. Two more strength exercises before we finish up with a little stretching. So we're going to do one more round of the bridge and then one final exercise for our abs. So with that being said, drop your feet down. Extend your arms up with or without your weights. Inhale to prep. Exhale, peel your vertebrae off the ground, lifting your hips. Nice. Inhale, imprint down, one vertebrae at a time. Exhale, lift. Good, now feel free to continue like that, or as we did before, hold on your next exhale. Hips are continually gently lifting towards the sky, and then this time for the upper body movement, we're gonna do some pec flies. So with a gentle bend in your elbows, open and close. So you're just dropping down and coming up, but you're not locking in your elbows. So you have a little micro bend there. Once again, your hips are gonna wanna drop. See if you can keep them gently lifting. Most likely, the weight in your feet is gonna wanna go to the pinky toe sides of your feet. See if you can keep the big toe sides gently pressing down. Then we've got our inner thighs activated, the back side of our body activated. Zip in your belly, and you're working your upper body, so you're doing a lot here. Really nice job. Last two. Last one. Good. Extend your arms straight up. And then on your next inhale, come down slowly with your hips. Beautiful. From here, with or without your weights, bring your fists together right above your chest. Pull your knees into your chest. Last strength exercise
the crisscross for your abs. So bring your head up, shoulders to your hips. Inhale to prep, exhale, elbow towards your opposite knee. Inhale, exhale, switch. Inhale, exhale, switch. Nice. Toes can be flexed or pointed. And you're welcome to go as slowly or as quickly as you'd like. The quicker you move, typically the more challenging it becomes. So if you want to go faster, it's probably going to look something like this. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Good job. Do what you can for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Hands and weights down. Pull your knees into your chest if that feels good, or out towards your shoulders. Wiggle your toes. Deep breath. Then drop your feet down. Nice and wide like we did before. Let your knees tent in for a second. Awesome job with that sculpt workout. We're gonna finish up with the supine twist. A little well-deserved stretching here. So with that being said, bring your arms out to a T or cactus arms. Untent your legs. Bring your right leg over your left. And on your next exhale, drop your knees to the left. Right shoulder stays glued to the ground. And make a point here in your supine twist to breathe deeply. And on each exhale to think release. So we have a tendency in twisting, especially when we're twisting in a stretch like this, to kind of tense up to protect ourselves. And so we gotta actively tell our body to relax a little bit, allow it to gradually sink into this stretch. So you can use your breath to do that. Two more breaths on this side. And then pull your belly button to your spine. Use an inhale to bring your knees up. Switch the crossing of your legs. And then on your next exhale, slowly drop your knees to the right. Left shoulder stays grounded. And then it's all about your breath. Again, think release on your exhale. Another thing I like to think about in the supine twist is just trying to be as heavy as I can. So I'm letting gravity take over to allow myself to get the most out of this stretch. Two more breaths here. And then as we did on the other side, use an inhale to bring your knees up. Core strong as you come up. Nice. Feet are wide, knees tent in. Take a breath here, allowing your lower back a little time to transition. And then let's finish up with a few deep breaths, either with your knees in your chest like this, or out to your shoulders like this, or flipping around and going into child's pose, whatever you prefer. So once you've found the position that you prefer, close your eyes if they aren't already.
Some long, slow inhales and some long, slow exhales, relaxing your face and jaw as you go. And I'll read that prayer one final time as you're resting here. Peace, poise, and power are within me, for they are the witness of the inner spirit of all truth, love, and wisdom. I am at peace within me, and all about responds to that great calm of the inner soul, which knows its rightful place in all the good. Power is born from within me and passes into my experience without effort or labor. I rest in security and peace, for the inner light shines forth and illuminates the way. On your next inhale, blink your eyes open. And slowly transition to a seated position. Now I know this is a Pilates exercise, not a yoga one, but I thought I'd still end with a little namaste, especially on a Sunday, right before you start your week. So just a little blessing here. So with that being said, sit up as tall as possible, bring your hands into your like a prayer-like position for a moment. Take a deep breath. And then bring your hands to the space between your eyes. May you have peace in your thoughts this evening. Hands to your lips. May you have peace in your words. And hands to your heart. May you have peace in your heart and actions. Namaste. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you found this content helpful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. Also, if you're wondering how to become healthier, I've created a free masterclass for you that is truly your ultimate wellness guide. It's called Fit and Fabulous for Life: 7 Secrets that'll help you find your healthy living sweet spot. If you're intrigued, you should see a link to it on your screen now. You'll also find a link to it in the description box of this video. Thanks again for tuning into this video, and I hope you'll consider checking out my free Fit and Fab masterclass.